The mainstream media is going to be totally wrong about this election. They say that Harris has the edge right now in a lot of swing states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But what if I said that that is not the case and that I have proof to back that up? Today I'll be giving you my updated 2024 presidential election prediction. It's a shocking one, so make sure you watch until the end. We're going to start off with Kamala Harris's safe states. We have Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine's 1st District, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, DC, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New York, putting Kamala Harris's safe states at 181. Now we're going to go to Donald Trump's safe states. We have Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Nebraska at large, along with Nebraska's 1st and 3rd congressional districts, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana, along with Maine's 2nd district, putting Donald Trump's safe electoral votes at 132. Now we're going to go to the likely states for Kamala Harris and for Donald Trump. We're going to start off with Kamala Harris. The first state that Kamala Harris has as a likely margin is Colorado. Now, Colorado has been one of the most left-trending states in recent years. It actually voted for Biden by 13 points in 2020, when just 4 years before that, it voted for Hillary Clinton by about 5 points. So you see, this state is really trending to the left, and because of its leftward trend, it's going to be a likely state for Kamala Harris. The next state that we're going to have as a likely state for Kamala Harris is New Mexico. New Mexico has been a very Democratic state, voting for Joe Biden by 10 points in 2020, and I do expect it to stay relatively the same as it has in past years, and for that reason, this would be a likely state. Another likely state that I have for the Democrats is New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire is a very anti-incumbent state, but it has been a left-trending state in recent elections. And New Hampshire voted for Biden by 7 points in 2020. And because of its leftward trend, I do have this as a likely state. And then our last likely state for the Democrats is going to be Maine at large. Maine at large voted for Biden by 9 points. I do see Maine probably shifting a little bit to the right, but it's not going to be too big, so it's not going to have a big impact on the state as a whole, and so that's going to be another likely state for Kamala Harris. So now we're going to go to the likely states for Donald Trump. First, we're going to get the big one out of the way, and that's Texas. Now, Texas has been trending to the right, to the left in recent years, as it only voted for Trump by 5.6% in 2020. Back in 2012, Mitt Romney actually won the state by like 16 points, so it has been a very left-trending state. But one good thing for Republicans in the state is Latinos in the Rio Grande Valley, the southern part of Texas, have been trending to the right in recent years. And so for that reason, I do think that the Hispanics turning to the right in the Rio Grande Valley will kind of offset Republicans' losses in Texas, making it a likely state for Donald Trump. The next state that I have as a likely state is Florida. Florida has been one of the most right-trending states in the country, kind of opposite of Colorado, and it voted for the Republican governor Ron DeSantis in 2022 by 19 points, and also for the senator by about 16 points. And Florida Republicans actually outnumber Florida Democrats by about 1 million voters in the state, and so for that reason, I have this as a likely state for the Republicans. And then the last likely state that I have is Ohio. Now, Ohio voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020 by 8 points. And so Ohio has been a right-trending state, kind of like Florida, and it doesn't look like it's going to change this election. Kamala Harris doesn't have the momentum to flip a state like Ohio like Obama did, and shifting demographics in Ohio definitely helps Trump, and so for that reason, I have this as a likely state for Donald Trump. So that actually finishes off our likely states for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. But before we go any further, less than 4% of you are watching are subscribed. So if you enjoy this videos, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel, and it really helps us help us get to 1,000 subscribers by this November. But with that said, let's get back to the video. Now we're going to go to the lean states for each party. We're going to start off with Kamala Harris. So I actually have Minnesota as a lean state. Now, as you know, Tim Walz, the VP pick for Harris, is actually the governor of Minnesota, and they're pretty popular at that too. And so I do think that that definitely gives her a better edge in the state because of Tim Walz's popularity. And so for that reason, I have this as a lean state. Now, this is not a state, but it's actually a district in Nebraska. So Nebraska's 2nd district, I have this as a lean margin for Harris and Walz. Now, this district voted for Biden by about 6 points, but it was redistricted and it became a little more Republican. So I do see Harris probably win it by 4 or 5 points. Polling out of Nebraska's 2nd has been very favorable for Kamala Harris, and for that reason, I have this as a lean margin for Kamala Harris. The next state that I have as a lean margin is Virginia. Now, Virginia did vote for Biden by 10 points in 2020, but then right after that, it actually elected a Republican to be governor of the state and really voted red down ballot, the attorney general, lieutenant governor, all of that Republican in this state. And because of that, I do think it's going to be a little closer in Virginia. Definitely not enough to actually flip the state, but I think it's going to be a little closer, making it a lean margin for Kamala Harris. Now, one state that I have as a lean margin for Donald Trump is North Carolina. So now North Carolina did go for Trump in 2020 by 1 point, I think a little more than 1 point, but then 4 years before that went for Trump by 3 points. If we look at the polling in North Carolina, we see that Trump is up by 0.5%, a very small margin, but polls have underestimated Trump in North Carolina before, and I do believe they're doing that again. And I just see North Carolina as a very Republican state. I don't see it flipping. Kamala Harris would really need to have a ton of momentum to flip North Carolina, in my opinion. And so that's why I have this as a lean margin for Trump. Now we're going to go to the last of the 6 swing states, if we don't include North Carolina. I'm going to start off with Georgia. I have Georgia as a tilt Republican state. If we look at the polling, we see that Trump is up by 0.5% there. In order for Kamala Harris to win, she would need to get a lot of black turnout in the Atlanta metro area, which is really hard for a presidential candidate to do. And so for that reason, I have this as a tilt margin. I actually have a tilt margin for Kamala Harris, and that's the state of Arizona. Even though Trump right now is up in the Arizona polling, you might look back at 2022 when the Arizona polling actually overestimated Republicans back then. I do believe that because of the shifting demographics and Maricopa County in Arizona, I do see the state going very slimly for Kamala Harris right now, but I really could see this change, and I wouldn't be surprised if in my next prediction I had it as a tilt state. It really could go either way, but for right now I do have this as a tilt Democrat state. And then another tilt state that I have is Nevada. If we look at the polling in Nevada, we see that actually Trump is up. Hold on, let me pull this up for you, by 0.2%. And Nevada has been trending to the right in recent years. And so I could definitely see Trump losing Arizona, but actually winning Nevada. So for that reason, I have Nevada as a tilt Trump state. And then I do believe that these 3 states are going to vote together. And as of right now, I do see Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania being tilt wins for Donald Trump. Now, let's break down the reasons for these states. We're going to start off with Wisconsin. Biden won Wisconsin by just 20,000 votes in 2020. While Harris is up, Wisconsin majorly overestimated Democrats in Wisconsin in 2020. And Kamala Harris really needs to have that momentum that Biden had in the 2020 election. And from what we're seeing in the polls, she really doesn't have it. And for that reason, that's going to be a tilt Trump state. Another tilt state that I have for Trump, Michigan. Now, Michigan, probably one of the main reasons I have this as a tilt Trump state is that the Arab American community, they voted uncommitted in the primary, but now they've started to do a campaign which is abandon Harris in the state. Because Arab Americans are such a key demographic for Democrats, and because they really, really rely on the Arab Americans in Michigan, I do see Trump winning this state. And then the last state that I have Trump winning is Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania is basically, you have like Alabama in the rurals, and then you have like New York in the cities. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you have really Republican areas and really Democratic areas. Now, Elon Musk did go out to campaign for Trump. I don't think that's going to have too much of an impact, but Trump is very popular in the rural areas, and he's known for turning out the rural areas. And also, you've seen that black men in particular are not voting for Harris as much as they did for Biden just 4 years back. And also the turnout problem that Harris has. She doesn't have the momentum that Biden did back in 2020. And also, since Biden is not in the ticket, Biden was very popular in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania. The northeastern part of Pennsylvania. These rural counties that actually did vote for Biden in 2020. And because he's not on the ballot, I don't think Harris is going to have that appeal among the working class families in Pennsylvania. And so for that reason, I have Trump winning Pennsylvania by a tilt margin. So there you have it. According to my latest projection, Donald Trump will get 301 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 237. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button down below and subscribe. Comment your thoughts or suggestions in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.